Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another episode of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel, checking the video out. Always very grateful for that, so thanks a million for that. Guys, today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite March lures, how to fish the big Megabass Canada jerkbait. This is an oversized 7-inch long jerkbait, and March is the best month to fish this thing. So I'm going to give you guys sort of a little seminar on what to look for, conditions, how to work it a little bit, because it is a specialty jerkbait. You don't really fish it like you do normal jerkbaits or in the same type of areas. So we're going to go over that in today's video. Also, guys, thank you very much for everybody out there that has taken time to subscribe here to Intuitive Angling. If you haven't had a chance, I'd like to invite everybody to hit that subscribe button. It's free and easy, and it's a good way to help the channel out. So much appreciated there. Okay, guys, you know that I love jerkbaits here, and you know the good thing about being with Megabass is they have just a wide range of different type of styles and profiles of jerkbaits. Everything from like little 2-inch long jerkbaits up to the largest one they make, which is the Megabass Canada here, 7 inches long. Also, it's got a super wide body. It's a little bit unique because it's flat. If you look at it across there, it's almost like a flat side crankbait. And the combination of this wide body and the flat side, you get a really aggressive, hard side-to-side darting action with this thing. Super unique, and it looks great in the water. If you guys have never fished this thing, when you twitch it like that, the thing just sort of comes alive in the water. But what I specifically want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the conditions you have to get a big oversized jerkbait like this to work in. Also, guys, I'll link this in the description in my Tackle Warehouse link. If you guys want to pick a couple up, if you use that Tackle Warehouse link, it's a good way to support the channel. You can get a bunch of different colors of them at Tackle Warehouse there. Okay, let's talk a little bit about conditions first, because since it is an oversized jerkbait, it's sort of like in the same category as the big swim baits and the big glide baits. You have to have a specific set of conditions for this thing to work good. First thing you have to have is you got to have a lake that's got, a pretty decent population of quality fish in it. It doesn't have to have a lake that's got like a bunch of big fish in it, but it needs to have a lake that you've got a decent amount of 2 to 4 pound bass in it. If you've got a lake that doesn't have many fish over 2 or 3 pounds in it, probably not going to be that productive. But any larger man-made impoundment is going to be pretty good if you have, a population of those size of fish in it. The next thing you have to have is you got to have the right water clarity and the right water temperature. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. It applies to literally every lure category. And the proper water temperature, water clarity for the Canada out there, a lot of it depends also on the color that you're using, is I like the water to be a little bit on the, I don't want to say stain, but have a little bit of color to it. Most of the time, if you gave me a perfect scenario where the Canada works the best, I would put it in the water visibility between 3 to 5 foot clarity. Haven't had that much success on it. If you got gin clear water, like over 6, 7, 8 foot of visibility, haven't had much success on it in under 3 foot. So that 3 to 5, possibly 3 to 6 foot visibility is really critical. Next thing you have is you got to have wind. Since this is a large aggressive jerkbait, guys, you're going to do much better on those windy days. So I like the days out there where you have a wind of at least 10 miles an hour. Ideally, a wind around 15 is perfect, along with that wind being out of the south, southwest, or west, and have some clouds both. Because this whole scenario, if you've got a southwest wind, south wind, and you got some overcast, most of the time you have some type of a weather system moving in. Anytime you have a stable or a falling barometric pressure in the month of March, that's going to get those bigger fish aggressive. And so that's what you have for those fish to get aggressive on a lure this size. So you got to have a prefrontal south-southwest wind, possibly west wind, one of those normal temperature days or maybe slightly above normal, wind, clouds, water visibility 3 to 5 foot, and then you got a perfect scenario for this big jerkbait to work. Now, the next structures that you're going to talk about, depending upon the lake that you fish. My favorite March area to fish the Canada in is on bluff banks or super steep banks. I don't fish it around points a lot like I do on a traditional jerkbait. For whatever reason, I want some type of a steep channel bank. Now, this is a good staging area. In March, those steep channel banks are great areas for fish in general. So the first thing that I look for are bluffs. The bluffs can be on the main lake. They can be in the creeks. It doesn't really matter. but I get on those main lake or creek bluffs and I make long casts parallel down the bank, and depending upon the water visibility, I'm usually trying to target either that depth sort of between 3 to 10 feet or 4 to 10 feet down those bluffs, just making long casts, covering water with it. That is by far the best scenario. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a bluff, but it needs to be a steep bank where you have a bank angle of between 40 to 60 degrees that drops off into some deeper water. One of the things you're going to find about this big jerkbait is the reason that deep water access is critical is most of the time the fish are going to come up on this bait to hit it. It's not like a smaller jerkbait where they'll get it from the side sometimes. I have found my best success on this is pulling those fish up out a little bit deeper water. It seems like they just get it better and they're more aggressive on it. So that's why I want that deep water access nearby. The other situation it works good in, guys, if you have any type of a grass lake that has deeper aquatic vegetation. If you have a lake that has, some milfoil or hydrilla in it, like Sam Rayburn in Texas, Lake Seminole in Georgia, this big Canada is same conditions out there, same water clarity, same weather conditions, but fishing this thing over the top of that grass can be super, super productive. And as far as colors, guys, I use the same color foundation I do with my other jerkbaits. If it's cloudy or a little bit more on the dirtier side, I like some type of a flatter matte finish. If it's clear water with brighter skies, I usually go to some type of a translucent finish. And on those, say the partly cloudy days with lots of wind, I may go to a metallic finish. But Tackle Warehouse has got a bunch of good colors you guys can surf through in that link I put in the description. But anyway, guys, month of March, man, this thing is ideal, especially when that water temperature's in the 50s. As long as you have water temperatures in the 50s, along with everything else I got in there, just try this. And also, guys, it's not just like for giant bass. I've caught a ton of 13 and 14 inch bass on this lure, so it's pretty versatile. It's sort of like that Mega Bass Mag Draft. It catches a wide range of sizes of fish, and it does not get fished very much. That's another good thing about it. So anyway, give it a try. I think it might add up to some good fish for you guys. We'll talk later.